If there's anything else, you guys want to get started?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the Sunday recap room. We will start with the structure. Quick 10-second summary. Every Sunday, there's no talks about commentary. The conversation revolve around actionable steps so that by tomorrow, our performance improves at least 0.5%. We achieved that objective by talking about the best opportunities, whether you took it or not. So obviously biggest range and things like that. And I'm not plugging, but we can use flash research and just look at the biggest range that we had. And we try to talk about as a group, how do we attain that? How could we have entered? Where would we have exited? How do we hold on? Best trade, worst trade, stuff we do. And ideally in a perfect world, setup that has been working has not been working. Example, waiting. Some traders like to wait for push, blow off the open, pre-market blow. Okay, that hasn't been happening. That has been happening, or it's been going above. If you notice something like that, I understand that doesn't often change on a weekly basis, but if it does, it's very cool to be ahead of that curve. And by us being open about it, we can all help validate that thesis or invalidate that thesis. Or we can also, I think, we're very, very lucky to have a group that is very high performing. You know, to the outside world, as admins, teachers would say, the stock market is efficient. We cannot make money off of stock market as everything. And we have guys that are consistently producing like 800% to 1,500% a year. So, we're very lucky to have that. So let's get right started. If you're not speaking, try to think of that stuff. Try to think of how do you capitalize, like those things that I mentioned. Go to Sunday recap room. Let me just go here. Go to Sunday recap room and think of your best trade, worst trade, so that when it's your time to talk, then it's not just out of the blue. I'm also gonna screen share. I think I will start the first two segments. So this is what I'm doing. I was doing a different screen, but might as well do it here. If you guys have a better way of seeing best opportunity and market sentiment, then just feel free to speak up about it. Let me see. So if I do gap value, today is the 27th, so we can do from 20. So I go here, I'm gonna go on the 19th till now. Gap value, I'm gonna pull 45%, and then volume minimum 2 mil market. If you guys want me to add another variable, what I'm doing through this is basically, there's one way you could do is you could track what all the runners are. Sunday repair stats. Holy moly, 244. Did I mess something up?
Yeah, the check you chose to take too.
Thank you. We're so lucky. So today's the 27th, so it's the 20th. So there were 16 gappers. What I do is I click here. Please, again, if there's a better way that you guys have a way of doing it, let me know. I think you can sort by range.
I think this is a good way.
This is a good way?
Yeah.
Yeah. So ideally what we could do is like, we'll look at the top three, and no, there's another way. Return, and then we could look at this. Like, how do we capitalize it? Why did this fade? How do we make it better? Let me see if I can do this. Does anybody have any better way? Well, before I jump onto this, please speak your mind. Nobody?
I'm just experimenting with it right now.
Yeah, I'm just, you could. Basically, the goal here is to, as opposed to taking screenshot of charts that faded, I'm hoping this stuff captures everything. Okay, so quickly as group discussion, we won't spend too much time. Market sentiment. Before we jump in, this is a really good exercise. Let's go one by one quickly, like 30, 40 seconds. Do you feel that we're in a bullish cycle, bearish cycle, neutral? Adnan, you want to start, Billy?
Yeah, I would say like somewhere between bearish and neutral.
Bearish and neutral. Okay. Any other comments as to 2 sentences? Why? Why not? Why is it?
Yeah, like most things are fading, and the stuff that doesn't fade, it doesn't drop too big.
Awesome. Brother Abel?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think, yeah, kind of varies and yeah, neutral at the same time. We still have a very big runner on Monday, but the UPX high that is kind of quite bullish, I would say. But a part of this kind of point stock, I would say, yeah, very neutral.
What's your conclusion? Is it neutral or is it bullish? It's okay that.
No, I think it is. I think it's more neutral than bearish for sure. Because still there were many tickers intraday very trappy. Like SXTC. What I mean.
Brother Arson.
Yeah, for intraday parabolics, like I've noticed it's a bit trappier, like Abel said, but for gap, I would say it's like bearish to neutral. Yeah, bearish more on the bearish side.
Awesome separation. Brother Lucas.
The thing is pretty much like you guys think previously, control and beverage is the offering on APO suite, and
Your voice,
maybe
I think, cuts out hardcore for me. Is it cuts out for you guys?
For me, it's also creating for me.
Cutting, yeah. Your internet reception, wherever you're sitting, I think is really bad.
my
It's your mic? Okay. Brother Martin, you want to go next while Lucas fixes that?
Yeah,
Market Central.
I would say, yeah, same as what Adnan said.
There.
We had some.
Lucas, whenever you fix your mic,
well,
no, it still cuts out.
Still cuts.
Cuts out for me. I assume it cuts out for you guys too, right?
It wasn't working out for me.
I am streaming, guys. If you guys want to watch, Lucas, whenever you're done, just let us know. We'll get right back into it. I think it's for your internet more than anything, and it also says OBS connecting. Okay. So let's go over biggest opportunities. And also this is small cap. Just a heads up. If you guys want to talk about good opportunities, Adnan or anybody that's in big cap or anything else outside of this, do not hesitate. It's encouraged to speak up about it. So this one we have TIVC. TIVC, actually, who mentioned that there's an offering on it? Why did this dump? Anybody? So let's look through it one sec. So we have Retro, TIVC, OBLG. Ooh, weird reclaim. So these faded at 37%. We had 16 gappers, potentially a lot of reclaims at the late day. I'm noticing. And then when you go down, yeah, admin, not many returns at place.
But this right now is only gappers, right? Not intraday gappers. You know, that not intraday
Pushers, yeah.
pushers, right?
Yeah. If I reduce it to 25% and then I put a variable for change, we could see those, yeah. Yeah, these are the uppers, yeah. So these ones closed green, which is trap long push failed, choppy fest. So we can start with, let's assume biggest opportunity was TIVC, Retro, OBLG.
BLG, we didn't have locates, I think, right?
You sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But BLG was Warren's play. I really don't have it. Yeah, ABC was a small nano float, but no DB. RETO the same. I remember the month.
Okay, so let's, as a group, I don't know how, again, we're all trying to work this out through this concept. How do we redo this? Like, why did they fade? How do we capture it again? Was it dilution? TIVC had an offering recently, right? Or is
Don't think so. I mean, no. It didn't. This one I didn't have illusion.
TIVC?
It was recent reverse split, March 7th.
Okay. So what do we do to capture this? I think it was the ATM that was being built, man. There's
ATM, I mean, is super small.
Oh, we were anticipating the offering. There's something else. Okay.
I think the only problem with this one is that the float is super small then.
Okay.
I mean, of
I
course, I don't know. This is my opinion. Maybe there is a way to short nano floats.
No, you're right. The only time short nano float is when there's dilution. So how do we? So you guys are saying fundamentally, I think Lucas was telling me they were anticipating an offering, and I'm looking at the stats. It should have an offering because it's really low in cash. It has less than a month of cash left. It has a high burn rate. It has a bit of ATM. So if they do an ATM, it increases the float, the offering amount. They have an active shelf, but they can only raise 500K. I don't know what that changes to if they dump all the ATM. Yeah, I think
I think the ABC was running. It was the one that was gapping when GELS will it be? Because I just wanted to say that the most important here is that let's say the day, like the only reason I could see to really show this one is that there was two very big gappers this day.
Yeah.
I will estimate that that there is not gonna be enough. You know, I don't know, that it's not sustainable to have two big gappers the same day at open.
Yes.
You are. I think that's the only way that we could think. Okay, I want to be more aggressive and short analog low.
Yeah, you were very right. So we had it. It was a 230% gap TIVC. GELS was 326%.
Like I'm pretty sure that let's say if you look with the stats and you look any day that there were two gappers the same day more than 200%, let's say, as an example, right? Which probably is like very little days. it's very uncommon. I'm pretty sure that they have to be always a kind of faders because it's not like I say. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Anyone have an opinion? How do we capitalize on TIVC and some of these other names? Or do you have an opinion why it fits? I agree with you, Abel, by the way. I think when there's multiple gappers that are really big, it only has so much juice. The inflow of buyers will either go on one or two. When it distributes out, it just makes the other one an easy fader.
I know.
Guys,
I
we're
remember.
all of them. Sorry, cut it.
Listen,
I was just gonna say, I guess you gotta take all of them, right?
All of them are the one that's the weakest after 15 minutes, I think. Hit the one that's the weaker. After 15 minutes, hit it harder.
I think that our problem with this specific ticker was that they have, from what I remember, there was some dilution, just a bit higher price.
At $14, yeah.
At 14. So we were thinking, oh, maybe they will push to that price. You know, like there will be at least a spike there, and then
Like,
drop. But yeah, it just died from out of the open. I think because of these two crazy gappers at the same time.
Okay. So top three focus. Ritu, OBLG, TIVC. Do the others one had dilution? Was another one of them, without hindsight, very clear, clean, fade opportunity?
OG was the best opportunity that day, but we don't have lockets.
I know, brother. I know. I got upset at them too.
PCTX was, I think, the biggest opportunity of the week.
Yeah. Like this week, yeah. PCTX. And APBO, I would say.
Which one?
Both offering place. APBO.
Oh, APB.
I mean, the gapper was not that big though.
Okay.
I don't even know if it's gonna be there, but
Okay. So BTC. So you guys are saying B6 is a clear from dilution point of view? Is that correct?
yeah, that one was very clear. The offering coming.
Okay. So why is that? So there's 6 months of cash left. The burn rate is high. And is it the S1 offering?
They were amending the S1 just few days before.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's a very good sign.
Yeah.
And the offering happened after hours or the next day?
At the end of after hours at 8
No.
p.m.
I mean, they made the S1 meth. You know what I mean?
Amended.
After hours. But yeah. So it had a small drop with this. Actually, I covered when I saw this because I thought, okay, then the software will take longer. But
Okay.
Yeah.
And then do you have any ways of how you would have capitalized or like we could turn back in time without any hindsight bias? Which one you would hit hard or how do you capitalize on it on the top three?
so for that one that you have right now, usually when I see a walk up into VWAP, right into the open, usually that's just it's just a liquidity hunt. So if you look back at a lot of charts where they just walk it back up to VWAP right at the open, usually they just fade from there.
Yeah.
So that's like a decent short you could put in and like put your stop like halfway between pre-market high and VWAP.
1050s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for the other one,
Go ahead.
the TIVC one, I mean, yeah, this one, like, I think I missed this one too because I was waiting for a pre-market high. Usually it kisses that level before it comes back down, but yeah, this was just one that was tough to catch because of that.
Yeah, I think usually if the market is a bit hotter, it tends to clear out the pre-market high and then comes down, right?
Yeah, even when it's not hot, like in a neutral environment, like usually it gets to that level and then pulls back. So that one is just kind of tough to catch.
But usually if something is like a 230% gapper or something, I feel like, am I wrong to say that the chase is kind of worth it below VWAP or below the open price?
Yeah, yeah. So I don't mind chasing whenever there's range.
I'm the same way. Yeah. But what are the pivotal points? For me, it's open price and VWAP. Do you guys have any variables if you see a stock? By the way, if I'm looking this way, it's because I have on the monitor, I have you guys here. Does anybody else have any? Adnan, do you have any variables that you use to be like, it has broken this, like a chase?
Usually like as long as it's staying weak, like I chase it. Like as long as there's no signs of like absorbing type price action, I'll take the gamble. It's very discretionary for me.
But there's no variable such as VWAP or open price or 5-minute breakout range that you use as a rule of thumb or no?
So like sustained weakness around VWAP, I assume that it's going to be a floor break at some point and continue lower. Once it's below VWAP, it's kind of harder to chase though because ideally you want to be waiting for pops, but if there's tons of range and the stock looks like it just made a big pivot, like anywhere around VWAP, and if it's showing weakness, I think it's fine to chase. That definitely works over time. And like another example of that was UPXI, like earlier in the week. If you, yeah, like once that blow off candle happened, like it's very hard to catch that, but that sustained weakness where there's absolutely no reclaim, that makes sense to chase.
So then the question becomes for me, I have an answer in my head. What percent gapper or move? I don't know about midday runners. I mean, I think you're very good at that. To this day, I've found it difficult fading midday gappers, aside from the distance. So what other variables in terms of gapper or something that we think it's sufficient to chase? For me, it's 80% or higher. Is it for you guys? Do you guys have a number in mind or a variable in mind?
100% for me for both gaps and intraday parabolic.
100% off the open or pre yesterday's
Yeah,
close?
it's off the price, whatever the price was previous day close.
Okay, interesting. Okay, it's very cool. Very cool. I've obviously been backtesting stuff. I think I have a variable from the open, 65% or higher. That's also a variable where things tend to fade off. But anybody else? Abel, Martin, Lucas, speak or forever hold your piece.
I don't have any specific variables in my head now. Just try to trade the price action.
Auto, yeah. And
Lucas,
everything.
Lucas, how's your?
It's different.
Gotcha. Lucas, I feel bad. Sorry. How's your mic doing, bro? Lucas? Oh shoot. I hope you haven't been speaking. We're not able to hear your voice or camera. It says OBS. No. I see you muted and unmuted, but we didn't see anything.
Lucas, go to settings in Discord and go to audio and video settings in Discord and make sure to have the right mic chosen.
Martin, if you don't mind, can you help him troubleshoot in general chat if you want, please? Appreciate that. If you can. I think you're the smartest tech of all of us.
I can send him a screenshot.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so overall, we were looking at dilution and percent. Also, the first thing that Adnan mentioned, I also have that backtested as well, where if a stock has pre-market...
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you. No camera, but we hear you.
That's a bit still, I think.
The voice is a bit weird, yeah. Not anymore, we don't hear you. So when it fades off, the thing I think just makes sense that there's bag holders to a certain extent. They've been defeated and they're pushing in just to salvage face and whatever and dump off the open. So that's how we capitalize from the perspective of technical analysis, fundamental analysis. The way we capitalize on those big moves is from S1 offering when it gets amended. Usually, I'm sure most of us know, but for people that don't, hypothetically, the S1 gets amended because they're in conversation with the compliance officer and SEC or SEC agent, whatever they're called. And SEC agent says, you need this. Back in the day, we used to track it. You needed to have signature, you need to have the amount of shares, the dollar, and you needed like an accountant's signature. If you didn't have that, then it wouldn't get an effect. So basically, the agent gives them an effect, which is like a go-ahead cert thing, and then they do the offer the next day. So from dilution perspective, if we see an S1A amended and you have a gap and you know all the other variables match, there's a good chance that's the one you need to. If my life was perfect and all the algos and things were working, I would have a short, to be honest, and then I would also have another algo that adds to the position. That's the position with risk management. So that's what we had from there, and dilution perspective is there. Any other big missed opportunities? We have APVO. Stop price. I'm not even. APVO was an offering play that we guys are disputed. Was there any other missed opportunities that you guys want to quickly discuss or talk about?
I missed GELS that one day. It was a good gapper. I just couldn't trade that many tickers.
You think that was a mistake? How?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is why exactly they died. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, there are so many big gappers and, you know, so many things going on. And yeah.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. I think I have this theory. It's just a theory, and I think it's what Abel mentioned. If I was working at a very full optimal perspective, I would, if we had like two gappers that were like 200% or 100 or 3-4 gappers at that percent, I think that's the day where I would ask my daily max loss to be increased. Not because I'm down red, but because I want to risk more. Does me and Abel have the same thought? Does anybody else have similar thoughts or other ways that we can, or how you would capitalize more on that?
I have a question. When you say risk more, is it more on everything? Like you're gonna trade everything and just increase your risk on all the names, like spread it out?
For me, I I like to maximize returns in it's like a figuring out game, right? If hypothetically we could make, let's say, 1,800% a year at a certain fixed compounding, how can I make the best amount, most amount with there? Knowing when to bet higher or lower, I think is critical, important for me. So what I mean by that is if let's say my daily max loss is 4R and I have no positions and I'm not red and I have a strong belief that, let's say we have 5 gappers, all of them are like we have 5 gappers and 4 of them are like 150%, 200% or more, and there's good reason for some of them to fade, I would ask for like a 6R or 8R risk, because instead of risking 1R, there's 2. And I don't think I would be so blunt to put it all equally. Given this is not the optimal way, but it's just given that my mindset is, I would put it on tickers that I feel like either has dilution or actually a volume.
Yeah.
Volume for me is key. Like volume projection. You don't have to go as far as volume projection, but something that has lower volume, something that's weaker out of the herd, right?
Yeah.
I don't wanna fight something has heavy volume and stuff like that. I want something weaker. And instead of 1R, I would like to put 2R in that. And maybe keep an eye on a different like setup. If it's above VWAP, see if I can put like a 1.5. If it's below VWAP, and another 2R. So that way, if I get stopped out, like I'm reducing my stop, that's what my thought process is. Does anybody else do that, or think it's a valid, or think of some conjunction where they increase their daily max loss? Definitely not because you're red, but because of opportunity.
I bet on BCTX.
Sorry?
So sorry to cut you off there, man.
No problem. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I did it on BC. That's about it this week.
Nice. Very nice.
You guys can hear me now well?
Very well.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I was just gonna mention that I think that's a good idea, but we have to be like very smart about it. Also, when there's like when we can see a lot of shorts are in pain, usually after that, it's like the easiest shorts opportunities. I remember the day we had the black swan of Tinon. You guys remember Tinon that went from 3 to 130? That day was extremely easy. I remember it was my best day at the firm, and like zero reclaims and pretty much like easy faders. So I mean that day I remember that I mean if I didn't even cover at end of day, which would have been like a 24-hour day. Like it was so good for shorts, because you can pretty much bet that every single short that got overnight got like destroyed on Tinon. And also I remember some friends were scared that day, like they were so in shock that they didn't even want to trade.
That's a very sexy point. I think we should have an emergency meeting, and next time ZJYL happens, because I think after that we had big fates, Tinon, and stuff like that. And I think we should all hold each other accountable to make sure that we keep our risk a bit higher. I think that's a very good idea. Beautiful, sexy ad, Lucas. And very happy you fixed your mic. Awesome.
For sure.
Beautiful ad. So guys, let's continue on so we've done market sentiment, we've done biggest opportunity. Adam, do you want to speak anything on big caps or not? Or it's just we can move forward?
I haven't done my scan yet for next week, so I don't have too much to add.
Okay.
On that side of things.
Yeah, I think there was opportunity back in the day, like a few 5 days ago, when you could have taken it long. It was much cleaner. Right now, it's just iffy. If there was opportunity, I think what for me personally is when we get the tariff fixed with China, that's when market will be easier to push higher. But the longer we go, in my personal biased opinion, if the longer we go, or if there's any bad news, there's a lot of up and down news. But the longer we go, the more it affects USA. I was actually very, very shocked. I was in USA recently, and like a USB charger for an iPhone was $15, and I was like, this stuff used to be dollar store. So I'm sure, and I'm pretty positive inflation hasn't, or maybe it was like that $10, $15 normal a while ago. But I think inflation will kick in really hard. So that's just the big cap. But down the road, if there's ever opportunity comes up while we're doing these sessions, like MSTR, NVIDIA, Tesla, or some other crazy reasons, and you know definitively how we can capitalize on it again, whether it's a technical setup or it's like a news catalyst, something, then feel free, we can bring it up. For now, let's go to our, everybody try to figure out your best trade, worst trade, and then try to also, if you can, what setup has been working, what setup has not been working. Please, 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 please keep it precise, to the point, no commentary on what you think. Like, I entered here, and then I shorted here, I covered here. None of that stuff. We want to keep it really nice and beautiful. And yeah, those are the two variables missing, and then that'll be awesome. Anybody want to go first? Anybody ready?
Yeah, I can go first if you guys want.
Go for it, brother.
Okay, so the biggest opportunity was GTX. I know TIVC has the biggest range. It's just
You want to
based
screen
on-
share? Sorry, screen share. It'd be cool if you can. Whoever is like speaking, that way we could follow your chart if you wanted to share or something.
I'm just trying to figure it out. One second. There it is. I think that's it. So based on this week, I know TIVC was a good trade. It's definitely up there, but BCT size, I got double size on BCT just based on the previous close and stock history. So that was my best trade. And for my worst trade was just missing GELS that one day because I just hit all gappers this week. So that's been working for me. Yeah, so based on process, that was good. So just the past few days, I've been more picky on intraday parabolics. I wait for 100% move before I do anything. I just want to move away from that and just focus on gappers.
Okay.
That's about it for me.
Beautiful, short, precise, to the T. How do you? So what can you do? So your best trades, what can you do to take more of them? Like what was? Is there a common denominator in your best trade?
Yeah, like they were all like heavy gappers. Like I think both were over 100% up. And I did play intraday parabolics, but I waited till they were up about 100%. And I was more cautious on my covers on those. Like when I got a flush, like on XTC, for example, I took a flush on it right away and it saved me. And OMEX, same thing. Like when I played the gapper and I cut it the first time, the old me would keep trying to fight it. And yeah, it might work out, but it might not, right? Like, and that's where I really like gave back a lot of gains is when I would just tilt on that one name.
Awesome. By the way, in front of everyone, your process has been really improving. Continue to recap. I think recaps are helping you compared to you coming in. I know we had a conversation, we had a one-on-one. Overall, I hope you can see your own performances improving, right?
Yeah, I'm getting less FOMO trades, just being more selective, less emotion involved.
That's beautiful, bro. Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you. And that's how trading, that's what we're trying to get to. It's P&L is one, the other one's just being less. How do you strip? Click the middle one. No. Go to the left. No. Okay. That's one way to do it. Who else wants to go next? I'll start picking, brother. I'll take my gun out and I'll start shooting.
I'll go next.
Okay, Adnan.
Is it just best trade?
Worst trade, best trade, and if some sort of setup has not been working or has been working.
Okay. So my best trade was UPXI. Just posted in Sunday recap. Blow off move and then weakness and just added since it was showing no sign of life. And then worst trade was, let me get it right now, CEG from, I believe it was, where'd it go? CEG from Thursday, just complete random trade, oversized. And yeah, max ticker loss on something that wasn't even a real setup. And then biggest opportunity, I think it's just, yeah, the gaps are working. What's not working is some of these dead cat bounce setups, they're starting to chop a lot. I've noticed that it's usually on the ones that they're either Chinese or they had a huge gap down, like Weight Watchers, for example, on Friday. So maybe just be a little bit more selective on those types of setups. Yeah, that's it.
Isn't Weight Watcher
You
your company?
mentioned
Yeah, Weight Watchers.
Sorry?
Not a Weight Watchers. What's the ticker?
WW.
SXTC, for example.
Yeah, 6TC was tough too. And CEP was kind of crappy. It was choppy even on day 3 on Friday. So yeah, it's that sort of setup's been a little bit tougher to trade of late. So just gonna be focused on taking the best ones going forward.
That's good.
Adnan, I have a question
Yeah.
on UPXI. You had a short entry on this 20 clear out, above 20.
Yeah.
The trade was, the ticker was trading like 3 seconds above 20. Did you have this order waiting there? In anticipation?
Yeah, and it was only maybe like 1,000 shares, so it was pretty small, and yeah,
All right.
I just felt lucky. I got lucky. I was not anticipating that at all. I didn't even see it. But then,
It's stuff in there, I remember. But it was like one
You-
second.
You did.
yeah.
It was not even a plan, or what? You left the order there from earlier.
Yeah, so whenever like I see a big runner and it's starting to kind of shape up on a base, I always put like a small order there, right? In case it does something like that, or like I get notified, I guess, in a way that this thing's about to maybe set up for going sideways. So
That's how
Oh, yeah,
you're a fucking bowler. You don't put alerts. You put fucking.
yeah,
Sorry.
it's small, right? Like it's only like a fifth or like a tenth even of what I'm intending on putting on.
Yeah, I find it badass. Excuse my swearing. That's really cool. Forget alerts, man. Alerts are old school. Put some shades up there. It makes sense. Some
Yeah,
people-
I like to be around the pivots, like pre-market high or high of day. Like it's like an important level. Like I think if you just blindly short those levels with a 10% stop, and like I bet that's a strategy that works over the long run.
It actually
So
does. It does. I have.
Yeah.
I backed it. I backed it as well.
Yeah, I saw one guy, he was saying that if you blindly short any level over VWAP on anything that's up 70% or more, that strategy actually makes money.
Yeah, you put a
mean
30%
clear out
stop.
high of
Say
that,
that.
or any level.
Any level above VWAP, right? So if you just took a random trade with a wide stop, it has positive expectancy. It might not work after locates and commissions, but it has positive expectancy.
No, it does work even after locates and things, and it's just because vast majority of small caps just fade so often. And when you kind of take, like, imagine taking trades below VWAP where the range is low, but above VWAP, the amount of times that it fades, the range that, so you're only involved in the scary names, and because they fade, they'll fade from above VWAP to below VWAP 30, 40, 50%, and your stop is because of the range it's expected value is really high. Profit factor,
Yeah,
those are like 1.6, 1.8.
Yeah, and that's why, like, as a side comment, I think that, like, the more trades that you take, like, as long as they're position sized in a way that it's not like super high risk, where like you're risking crazy amounts on any given trade, like if you just take like 3 4 trades a day, like and they're like decently structured above VWAP with a wide stop, like it's gonna work over the long run. So sometimes it's just a matter of increasing your trade count, and you can give a decent boost on your overall P&L. Because yeah, like it's kind of eye-opening that if you just short anything randomly that's above VWAP that has range with a wide stop, that it actually is a profitable trade.
I think a lot of people would disagree with that, but I think there's merits in both ways. There's many people that only take 2 trades a day or 1 trade a day or like 4 trades a week and they do really well, but because they wait for everything to end up. And the reason why there's expected value is positive. So if you were to short something below VWAP and above VWAP at a random, you would actually, the expected value would reduce massively. So your P&L would be really long. So if you short below VWAP, that thing, that's it won't work out. But above VWAP because of the range. Anyway, I feel like I'm repeating myself. I have seen both ways work. Yeah, I think what's interesting and then is like if there's a scalper, no matter how much you try to tell them to have all day fade or whatever, and you show them all stats, it just won't work for their personality reasons. I think there's different trading. There's some people that are like, I need to have dilution. I need to have this. I can't take 6 trades up, and then they just freeze.
Right.
And you are the opposite. You feel comfortable. You actually get anxious when you have 2 3 trades, right?
Yeah.
And then you need a lot of trades because it just bring you peace of mind. You just focus on which one's getting. You let the winners run by focusing on like which one's problematic, and the less you just let run. You're not focused on it. There's multiple ways to skin a cat, but yeah. So when I spent a lot of time in the algo world and Rome, there's a lot of stuff to do. I am a workaholic. One of the things that's gonna really be a big game changer from a quant perspective and algo research is you need to have biggest profit percent in each strategy, how much you make that trade, like percent wise. And number 2 is the variable, how many trades you could take. You could have a strategy that makes you 28, 30%. But if that comes out like twice a week, even though profit factor P&L is really nice, I don't know, it's just different. at that point you could risk like 4 in per trade, whereas other people are where they could make 12% on which have bigger quantity and just be still. Trade percent growth and the quantity, those are the two variables that I've learned are critical. Good conversation. Good topic. And the setup wise, you said that
I want
stuff-
to.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I wanted to add that. I wanted to add that personality and also maybe like the level of sustained focused, because there's I remember hearing from Mark Douglas' book where there was a guy that traded extremely well, but his focus only lasted for like 1 hour. So he always used to like piss profits after like later in the day because he couldn't sustain his high focus for that amount of time, and when he reduced his time for trading only 1 hour maximum per day, he was doing better than trading like for more than that. So like I think like taking a lot of trades can work really well, but you as long as you don't like you have that focus capacity where you can execute correctly like throughout the whole day, because I notice sometimes I either miss trades or like my position size was not like the same as earlier in the day. So like I also wanted to ask that to Adam to see like how are you, like you have any tips to have that like sustained focused throughout the day, like yeah, just curious. And something that I know that is personality and focus.
Yeah, I mean, I think like if you just know your setup and your process, like, and it's like once you've been doing it for quite a bit of time, like you don't have to think about it that much. So it doesn't even require that much focus because it's like you're on autopilot, right? Like you know when the trade's setting up, you're just taking it, small size, set your stop, starts working, put your stop at break even. Like it's once you do it over and over again, like your process, it's like autopilot, right? So it might take like a few months to like build those habits, but then once they're there, you don't have to think about it too much, right? So yeah, I mean that's kind of how I did it. But since I've been doing this for this sort of style for so long, like I don't have to think it through as much anymore. Or but you know that applies for every sort of style, right? Like a guy that only puts on like 2 trades a week, like he probably doesn't have to think it through that much. It's just part of how he trades, and it's like autopilot for him, right?
Do you still put a lot of hours at them? Do you? I remember. One of my issue was I used to basically I put a lot of hours from 5 a.m. till 8 p.m. Do you still find that you're right that, or how many hours are you trading?
Yeah, like I don't come to the desk that early in the morning, but like I usually stick around to the end of after hours. But that's just a bad habit where I don't cover in time. I'm greedy, so I try to milk it all the way down.
That's part of the joys of the game.
But it's profitable, right? It's you said that
Yeah.
when you wait for so long, also it's boosts a bit more your PNL, right? So
Yeah, but yeah, I should just cover at the end of the day though.
Have you ever been
Doesn't-
caught after hours with bigger size?
it's for I was to ask here.
I got caught a little bit once, like a few months ago, but it wasn't too bad. Like I think it just was like a little bit bigger than max ticker loss. It was one of the ones where like it went from like 3 to like 10 in like a minute or 2 minutes, right? So I was like, what the hell? But I do try to take a decent amount off before the end of the close. Like I won't take a huge amount into the after hours either though. So yeah, I haven't been caught, but
That's crazy.
yeah, it was. I remember it was on a Friday in like winter, early winter, I think.
You didn't have full size, did you?
No. I always take something off before the close.
Okay, good conversation. Thank you. Beautiful intake. The summary of it is
Very useful.
let's try to I'm going to summarize it for my own self. You XI who shouldn't have alerts, we should have shares. No, that actually some people do that because they actually watch the market closely, watch the ticker closely if they have some share size. But that's a very badass thing to do. That's cool. So that's number one. Number two, you said the setups below VWAP, that I guess below above, are being a bit choppy. And anybody else have other summary takeaways? was it a refresher? Any other golden nuggets? Oh yeah, quantity. We talked about just taking a bit more to increase P&L.
I think that the open, yeah, when the stock opens close to VWAP, yeah, it's like
Follow to him.
Yeah, whenever they do a walk up into the open and it's
Yeah.
opening around VWAP, almost always fades.
Yeah. So there's a strategy around that also. You could have a wide stop on that, and then it would make you out. But that I think that works because if it pulls deep and then comes back to keep up, essentially people are
Yeah.
bag pre-market. Either have a
I
wide.
think, and in the dilution place, it's even more like it happens even more, I would say, or at least from what I was, reviewing. If you look even SLSN, for example, before they were going to drop the file of or FMTO, they all push exactly and then
I think one thing they try and do, from my understanding, is they try to play anti-technical pre-market to create volume. So they have an algo. This is just tinfoil hat theory, and also because I don't have any hair anymore. They try to, like, if there should be structure and that low should be respected, but they just, because they're trying to create volume and entice other algos and other people to come on, they just break the lows, and then that stops out so long, and then they're using that to cover, or long, and then they push it higher, and then the price stops. So do that to create a lot of volume, a lot of traction, and the people that are in, they're gonna participate at the open, and yeah, they just push it off. And they use the opening first 30, 45 minutes, so they just dump whatever they have, short whatever they can. Well, beautiful, beautiful take. So who else wants to go next?
I can go next.
Okay.
Let me share my screen.
By the way, before you go, I have a request for anybody that feels they're very fast in execution. I would love for you to come after this session. Adnan he asked me if I knew, and I'm not very fast. But if anybody's like can have some buttons and stuff like that or hotkeys, I would appreciate that if you wanted to come after. Okay, that's it.
So yeah, I will say this is my okay. I will go first with the best trade. It was BCTX. I was in around the market when it pushed, but I had quite big conviction on this one. I think this is the typical price action of an offering play when it's like super weak. I don't know how to explain. Like it's like that you can feel that it was some kind of push and a squeeze, and then it's just gone, right? And it's like super weak. I was starting some on a bounce. I was not happy I missed this part. And then in this one, I thought maybe at least they would push here, but we kept dying. So I started some at resistance. But when I saw that they were keeping it, I was scaling out slowly because I knew then, is this not gonna happen pre-market? Because my fear was, missing the offering even before the open. But then when market open, yeah, as soon as I saw tape weak, I started some, and then I was just adding more even here. Although I know that it looks like kind of chasing, but I knew that the downside on this was like it could go to $4, right? So it was still nearly $3 of downside, potential downside. So yeah, I covered just before market will close. Basically most of it here when I saw that the S1 amended, and I knew then, it's not gonna happen now, like very likely. So this was the best. Then by far the worst was yesterday or yesterday on Friday OMEX. I think I was a bit aggressive in the way that from process, I knew that there is dilution, quite acceptable dilution, and statistically, I know that they tend to fade quite rough down. I think I didn't take so much into consideration two things. First, this is day 2, so it is already squeezing some people from the day before. Second, it was the only main gapper on Friday, and the gap was not, I mean, it was like 50 or 60%. But the thing is that it was, many people looking at this, so it was most likely gonna be kind of crowded. So yeah, I ate quite a lot of clear outs here, I'll be honest. I started pre-market even. I saw it weak, and I added more risk in the high of day. Then yeah, I scale out some here and most on the clear out, and then it dumped. So then I started some. I felt I was chasing, So I cut it, and when it was at VWAP, it was proper position, and then it was going like so. Yeah, I think here I lost like 0.8. No, like 1 R actually. Yeah, 0.4, 0.5, 0.5. That's why I was a bit more aggressive. And normally I would even risk less and then just add more once it's like, going the way it's supposed to go, right? Yeah. But and here I was waiting proper per bounce to be up, and this one I also ate this clear out. But as soon as it happened fast, I added back.
Did you
My
did you add
mistake here was-
all of your size that you stopped out?
yeah, I had because it was quite fast. I saw that it was just liquid breaking. Yeah, but I think this trade here were decent, like of trying. Maybe this one here, this one was a bit chasing. Although I cut it fast when could see, it's not, you know what I mean. It's breaking the low, but then it's kind of going back instead of dying. So I know that it's gonna bounce. So I think the worst trade even here, I'll be honest, is this one here because I added back and instead of even covering, let's say, a bit here, right? I didn't. And the thing is that I was risking, just a bit above the, high of this liquidity even, right? And I decided, okay, this should die now. So basically I put break even. Stop. And exactly it spiked my break even and then it died. And I'll be honest, if only this didn't happen, I would just, for sure in this I would recover all these losses. So yeah, I decided to change to scalping mode. So basically here I did a small scalp. And here 145 was very strong support.
I love you.
So
This is gonna annoy you, and I hope it doesn't. Process wise, no commentary. What could you do different to reduce?
Yeah, I mean, I know. I was thinking a lot about it, and I think for sure, toughness wise, what I need to fix is once I see that this is not behaving the way I will expect for an A plus dilution ticker, is just change my mindset to more scalp mode. And the mistake for sure I did here is that I'm adding quite big size instead of putting less but higher, not such a tight stops, because then I miss the main move and I could have, let's say even if I make it a small loss, it's acceptable, but not like, so many paper cuts, you know what I mean? Adding like to a normal size big bet. So yeah, I think.
If you were looking for,
I think I tend to do this. Yeah.
I was gonna say if you were looking for feedback, I think the pre-market price action probably. If I put myself in your shoes, and as happened to me, when I tried too many times the free market, we just get emotionally burned out. We get top ticked, and then we go back below VWAP or adding, and then we got stopped out, add, restop, stopped out. We just don't want to. When that happens, we just are on the edge of our chair. So I think I could be wrong, but I think it looks like mental fatigue and a bit of emotions. So I think we talked about last time is you're very good at stock selection. Whether it works out or doesn't matter. Your variables and things you pick are nice, and you need to have the stop a bit wider. We can't do that when we get proven wrong with 3 full times on a ticker. It's very hard to do. So to offset that, I personally would reduce pre-market trading because of the weird random risk range, and then after that, try to risk where thesis becomes involuntary. But this is very easy for me to say because I'm not incorporating.
I mean, pre-market, I was basically starting like, I don't know, 4 minutes before pre-market, before open. It's not that I was trading, here, right?
Do you feel you're mentally burned out or no from pre-market and at the open?
I mean, no, man. I mean, I was just starting 3 minutes before the open. I think I was burned, after this action, like around. If I was burned, really, it was here, But I could see, my thesis is not invalidated, right? But I still get stopped out. But this is something I know I need to like. I am aware of this, I know I want to fix this thing of putting like stops. I think it's where whenever I lose, it's like if you check all my biggest like losses the last few months, it's like this, Christmas tree, where I was, stop out many times with tight stop, when it's like, I will say mainly when it's like some stock that is not behaving the way it's supposed to behave, instead of changing my mind of, okay, why the stops, or, it's more like scalp mode when I see that it's a listening, that basically they are hunting for liquidity and then dies and then break the lows and then it's again, going all the way up and then, down, and then it's like, liquidate, looking for liquidity again, have a big whip and then die. You know what I mean? It's like all the time. And here the same, even like, they check this 145 area, a strong resistance, and then in 1 minute they spike all the way, boom, to VWAP. So yeah, this is my intake of, I think, about the process that I need to fix. Yeah.
Overall, don't beat yourself up. Your performance is good, and this everybody has problems. We all have problems, different things we're working on. You have a lot of good strengths you got going on.
Yeah,
You acknowledge that's a good thing, and you know your actionable steps to mitigate it. And I personally think I find it sexy. Like when you get stop hunt, it's horrible. But when you have tight stop and then stock goes against you, then it's like, oh, that's a cool stop, right? So
yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I think this one was very bad luck. The only one that I would say bad luck, but
I think to improve that, I would for sure have some. Whenever I go to tier 2, tier 3, I try to have half of it break even, but the process wise improving, and then have the other half where thesis is invalid. That's one improvement in process that I would recommend.
Yeah.
So let's say if you're risking above, if your normal risk is at 1R in that setup, and then you have conviction because of dilution, and you are at 1.5R, try to have 0.75R, or if you have 2R risk, try to have 1R at break even, 1R at where invalid. Then
Yeah.
emotions are not as, we won't get as messed up as that.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, it was more annoying that this day, even after, I was so busy being chopped out here, that there was some decent trades like WHLR. I really like this kind of intraday pushers that the VWAP is very high, and there was even some dilution around this area. But these ones normally, when the VWAP is so high, right? Because the volume basically to push was so small that then most of the buyers are up here. These ones, they tend to drop back down basically the whole move. So these ones I really like to short. And I was so busy with the other one, being chopped out, but I completely missed this one. And even at least would say very fast. BCT was, maybe it looks like small bounce, but still it was decent. Like, after the offering at 450, that this is the standard bounce that most of the time is going back. So still you can, scalp some money here. I was just, yeah, it's something to take into consideration, that, so much attention to be in a ticker, then, that you do something in this kind of place. But yeah, that's all. I will just say very fast, UPXI, after that stuff, where, Batman put this 1000 shares here waiting for alert. I could see tape is different. So I was also shorting after this change on momentum. But process wise, my only kind of mistake you could say is that I was not so patient on it, in the way that, when I saw that it was messing around here at VWAP for so long, I basically, over a very small win, and it could have been a like very nice win, like, this is $5. So yeah, I fucked up this one actually. So I shouldn't have cut. I should have just leave it, with the stop I had from the beginning. But yeah, anyway, I'm talking too much. So yeah, that's my review.
I appreciate you. Setup wise, is there anything that you're like, this has not been working in the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
I think very similar to what Adnan say. Intraday pushers. So whenever it was, let's say it's this year. Yeah, whenever it's like, if it's Chinese, it's more difficult. Or if there was some crazy push on previous day, and then like MLD, like it was some crazy, some crazy run, right? And then it's bouncing, and you expect that, I don't know, it will bounce for a bit, but then this day, right? it went all the way to 60. Instead of bouncing to 10, right, which is where you would expect to go, more or less, it just went all the way to 15, which I think it was still decent entry if you look at the chart, right? Of resistance. But it's just like they push much more than what you expect and kind of choppier. So yeah.
It makes it difficult for long entries because there's no higher, lower high and stuff like that. It's just straight
Yeah.
up and kind of straight down. That's the
So I
negative
think
aspect.
yeah, shorting into like the bounce short strategy, I think it's a bit difficult the last 1-2 months, my personal opinion. So I don't trade them so much after being chopped out a bit. I think it's much better to trade this kind of up and dumps like intraday. Where is it? Over here, like like this one. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
But thank you.
I hope, Gable, I hope you don't take anything personal. I love you like a brother. So thank you.
I spoke too long. I
Say
spoke
that-
too long.
No, you didn't. But just sometimes I know it's easy for me to just commentate, do this, do that. I just don't. Nobody take offense to what I say. I'll try to be.
Man,
Not
I never like. I'm happy to be. That you guys tell me you fucked up here. That's the whole point for me of showing these things. I'll be honest. If not, where is the button?
Awesome. Appreciate it. Brother Martin's going next.
Yes. I want to talk about one ticket, which was probably for me the biggest opportunity of the week. And even though it was a decent, or let's say okay P&L, I also traded it in the private account. The private account, I started shorting even up here in early pre-market. Kept the start all the way. I did one big thing not very well, which is sizing, which is my usual problem on this one. I had the first entry here, I was at 860, which was actually a nice or lucky timing. It didn't go much higher here on this bounce, but I should have taken at least 3 times the size instead of what I took. Then it would have been a decent trade, and I just fucked it up. Probably because, I already had a position in my private account as well, so I just didn't bring up the awareness in real time to clearly think at this moment, if I enter here at 860, maybe I risk, this, let's say 10 level, and then calculate or first think how much R do I want to risk. There was still a possibility that this could trap here. It was not totally out of question on this bounce. Often they do this, dips off the open and then they reclaim and clear out the highs at least. But yeah, anyway, I came to the conclusion I should have risked taking 3x the size what I took. This was really, bad, I would say.
What would you
Because-
change in your process to make sure that next time you're risking 3 or 3 times?
Well, I'm trying to do this for a long time now, but what I have to do is to be aware of exactly where my stop is and how much R I want to risk at this point, where I want to enter, and then calculate the correct position size based off that. But often, I don't know, is it maybe it's the stress, or I don't know, I'm not able to think that clearly sometimes off the open,
Do you have
when you
in front
watch
of you?
several tickers.
Martin, do you have a cheat sheet
Uh,
in your monitor that says if it's a thumbs up?
I
If it's-
wrote once, but I don't have it right now in front of me. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Have you considered getting a tape and putting it on your monitor, at the edge of your monitor, where the black spots are, the black lines?
I have some space here in front of my keyboard, between keyboard and monitor, but this is...
What if you put it
Uh,
on? What if you put a sticky note and attach it to your monitor? That way you don't have any choice but to take a look wherever your chart is.
The monitor is at the very, touches the table, so it's that low, so there is no really a place to stick something on it. Sizing is still prevents me, still my biggest issue, and it prevents me often from profiting of some good opportunities like this one. What I did good here was that I added into weakness after it became clear that this was probably doing an offering either intraday or after hours or overnight. I would have loved intraday offering because I love these intraday offerings. They usually give an opportunity maybe to even add if you're quick, or at least they drop quickly then to usually often the offering price, which was 450. But I did it in overnight, the offering. Also another thing, I was waiting in after hours for the offering, and at least I held until late after hours. Actually, I stayed up for this even longer than I usually do because I was I was waiting. Sometimes they drop an offering at 5:30 or so in after hours, but after it didn't come, then I just covered and went to bed because it was almost midnight here. Yeah, this is at least what I did well to hold until after hours. So I squeezed out what I could from the undersized position. Yeah,
Any worse?
that's.
Is that it, or do you have any worse trade?
No, I just wanted to talk about this ticker. I would not call it the worst or the best trade. I mean, it was I think the best P&L trade, but I was annoyed about this mistake of undersizing. So yeah, it was maybe the worst and the best trade.
Well,
I don't know.
one thing, Martin, is when we acknowledge what the problem is, the odds of you not overcoming this is close to 0%. If you, every day you write down, by the way, for anybody, if you were not to open up, for anybody, they would think of this chart, including myself, anybody in here, anybody all around the world, they would think that's a very sexy P&L chart because there's a lot of good behaviors. Conviction, adding short, and maybe that's hindsight because if it went higher, we would have been like, why did you short below? Blah, 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 blah. But, there's a lot of good things that you have got going on. But also, don't get discouraged, bro, because genuinely, if you keep at it, this is not going to continue for 10 years, right? If you were to continue for 10 years and you were to focus every day about sizing, it's almost impossible for you not to correct your sizing. So acknowledging is a really, really big step, very important step on, and it's half the battle. And now every day, and that's why sometimes I get annoying and I'm like, hey, bro, write down your R. What was your entry? What was your thing? You do that every day, bro. It's only a matter of time before it gets solved, and it won't get solved. So don't get discouraged. Sexy, beautiful. You're changing in many ways. Forget this stuff. I'm inspired by how well you articulate your thought process now. I ramble on, continue on. There's a lot of improvement I see, and whenever we improve as human beings, our trading improves too. So good job overall. Beautiful. You are awesome, bro. Appreciate you. Brother Lucas, you are the last one, and then we can go jump off the window. I am weird, sorry. Lucas, you're muted, by the way. All the secret sauce you shared this one. Bye-bye.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
I was saying that our girlfriend just did lunch. Very
Some Colombian food, man.
yes, sir.
Yeah, nice.
All right, let's. I just want to talk about because I know I'm cutting longs. This was my last week trying longs. I'm just gonna completely not long anymore right now because it's very clear that right now I still not profitable with longing, so I'm just gonna cut it right now completely. Let me share.
While he's sharing that, just so you guys know, Lucas is a very workaholic and very good with his work ethic. Recap, not so much, but overall, when he puts in work, he puts in work. So he did a lot of analysis in his trading view, and then he determined this, and he did a bunch of different variables, and he adjusted his trading style. So just so you guys get a perspective. Go ahead, Lucas.
Yeah. So pretty much my best trade, as many of you guys, was P&L wise and just amount of range. I would just say that most of my size came in this 10 rejection, and pretty much the only thing I should have done better is just leaving this third of size for the open. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And the worst trade, that's what I want to talk about, which I'm really like frustrated with myself, this type of trade, because I even told Afghan to increase my risk pre-market because I wanted to risk more on TIBC. But as you guys can see, I completely missed the whole trade, and this put me like in a very like bad mood because I just missed like a really good opportunity, pretty much that like the best opportunity of the week. And I just need to like have like really mental awareness where I can just tell myself, hey, you just missed the whole trade. Don't even try to take full size now because you just pretty much missed the trade. So if anything, just take like 1/4 of size and don't ever do this again because I pretty much get chopped up here and lose ticker max loss on pretty much in like on small range.
Can you educate us why you why you anticipated this would be the best opportunity for you? What was the reason why you think this
Because
one
of
faded really well?
Yeah, because the offering and the gap percentage and the history of this ticker, like this ticker has been trading in the past a lot of times. So like pretty much that was the main reasons. I just want to touch on, like, I remember my issue why I missed this trade was because the previous day we had a lot of tickers that held until like 11 a.m. We had UPXY, where you can UPI held like the stuff candle happened like at 12 p.m. I think it was like kind of similar gap percentage. Also like grind all day was another gapper from previous day. But something that I'm gonna be aware also is about the how many gappers are in that day. So this day, there were like two really big gappers. Like Abel mentioned that there were like two big gappers this day, and the previous day was only UPXY. So I don't like. I will be more aware of that. So if there's more gapper, like more bigger gappers in that day, I will be like more aggressive or more ready to like attack it right off the open. And if for whatever reason I miss the trade, I'll just try to be super aware, because that's one only thing I'm gonna think about next time is TIBC fucked up. So like this doesn't happen ever again. Also like I realize that I'm putting a lot of emphasis on the dilution part, and I need to like that's a guide for me, but the main thing I need to focus is on the technical, because like if the technical is not there, then I'm gonna lose no matter what. Like in this case, I think I was so trying to bet for a new low at the end of the day because they had like dilution and it was like a very big gap. But also I need to factor in that I already missed like the biggest fade that happened so fast, like first hour of the day.
Okay, process wise, this was your A plus setup, right?
Yes.
What would you change in your
Yeah.
process to ensure next Monday coming up in the next few days? Mondays are always a pretty harder, just so we know. But let's say Tuesday.
Yeah.
Well, if
This was Tuesday. This was Tuesday.
no, I know, but tomorrow's Monday. I'm just saying,
Hmm?
once that I talked about it,
Yes.
and then somebody else's that Monday we all have tend to have or worst days. I don't know if why that is, if it's weekend or if it's just a lot of people are excited for Monday, blah blah blah. But next time you have an A plus setup, what can you change in your process to ensure that you're putting on some risk, or what are you gonna change? Do you need to change anything, or
It's just that I this day I felt like the market just tricked me based off the history of the previous day. So the previous day, like UPXY, I saw it like very similar, like type of gap, like the technical of UPXY with KIBC. Like I kind of saw it like similar, and I remember UPXY. I attacked it like right off the open, and I took like couple paper cuts. So with TIVC, I don't know why I just was like a bit more patient, and that turned out to be like the worst thing I could do. So like just trying to focus on like what I have in front, and also like the awareness of we had other big gappers this day. So like that's something key for me for the next one.
yeah, awesome. So process wise,
For
if you
sure.
have multiple runners, you're gonna try to put on more risk no matter what. And again,
Yes.
And
wait,
what? Sorry.
just two things I was going to add. Number one, obviously, we mentioned this. I don't want to squeeze it out again. Is it something that has a big range? Like if it's capped at 1 or 300%, and you think the APM dilution, whatever is being dumped, it could help it fade a lot more, then long story short, you can chase a bit more knowing that there's range, knowing that there's forgiveness. Number two, take a look at
Yes,
ticker
totally.
analysis. Go to Sunday recap and take a look at that and look at ticker's behavior in the past that it faded. So they're very similar and very similar to this alpha. Yeah, that's it. Go ahead, Abe. What were you gonna say?
No, I just wanted to understand a bit better why you say it was the best opportunity on A plus. I mean, because for me it's a bit different, so want to, I don't know, see, like understand better. What is it that you saw on the dilution? You were saying, for example.
It was S1, but I think it was not ready.
Yeah, I will just like my personal view is because I know what you mean about the S1, and this S1 was very quite old and it's in progress, right? But whenever there is an S1 that is so old, it's very difficult to to do the timing, you know, because
Yes.
if it's like 6 months S1 there and they don't keep, I don't know, they don't amend it or anything, how to know exactly it's now? Even if it was so long ago, they will need to amend it for sure. Like, I'm just saying that it's more difficult than, let's say, BCTX. They amended the S1 2 days before. So you know, okay, man, this is happening, you know, like they are preparing, right? But this S1 from TIBC was from August. So, like, I look at it and I thought, nah, how am I not going to know? Is at least now at the moment after, you know, they had like so many months. And of course, then I check like if they did anything after, and there was like ATM that they did after September, right? Small, but then you know, they are so basically they change their mind. They are diluting different way. This is the I'm just saying I don't know as an advice, right? Like the way I think with the dilution. So I think why would they change back to this S1? They have different way, and I could understand if you say maybe they want to do inducement of warrants, the ones at $14. But also this, I mean, I think it's also more related with the history of what they tend to do in the past. Let's say JJ many times when he's reviewing the tickers, he says, "Oh, this company is doing the inducement of warrants normally in the past." So you know they tend to repeat themselves, you know. So they will do inducement of warrants again because it's just the way they do it. Each company, you know, the people who are behind. So yeah, I'm
Was
just saying to you maybe to help you like yeah to think okay I will be more aggressive on for example and the IBC is careful but you know there were two tickers with big caps and this is why I'm you know me personally of course this is my opinion right maybe this is okay why it could jump right but yeah I mean what do you think this like
Yeah, Lucas, you had other variables why you were very. This was A plus. Or the other variables. And by the way, I thought it was A plus too. Just so you know.
Okay. Yeah. Before that, I think that's a really great point about like checking how old is the S1 because if it's very old, that conviction is not the same as if they amend pretty much the like one day before or even the same day, like pre-market or something like that. You know, it's like you can tell like the agenda like a lot better than if it's like very old. So that's something that I'm gonna be super aware. And I noticed like the best gappers that fade all day and even go red on the day, they do the amendment like pretty much the same day or one day before. So that's one thing. And for me, like it was like A plus, just the history of this sticker. I remember one time Short Bear, his biggest gain back in 2020 on a gapper was BPTH. And like he was mentioning that anytime BPTH gaps up, he just go like bigger size than what he used to be because he already has so much history trading with the same ticker and how it behaves. Like it's just like same way very similar price action every time. So like that's one big factor to take in consideration. But besides that, then anything else it was just like a big gap and history on the ticker and a bunch of dilution. Yeah, I remember also that the warrants at 14 and it was like a daily level right there. So yeah.
The other thing I would also add, everything is creatures of habit. There's, for me back in the day, it would used to be volume forecast, dilution, and ticker analysis. There's like four variables. Those were I think the four variables. But ticker analysis is really nice. It had 15 gappers recently, 14 prior to this, and 80% of the times it faded. And the price action almost always is very similar. And that's what it did this day too. Pushes, gaps, fades, pushes, gaps, fades. So yeah.
Yeah.
Any setups that you think have been working or have not been working in the past week or 2 weeks? Or any setup you're looking for?
Pretty much like pre-market action have been working really well the past few weeks. Something I want to touch that I just pops in my head about like being more aggressive out of the open if we have like a lot of big gappers in that day. You guys remember the first time in history where a ticker went from 10 cents to like $10 in one day? I don't remember the ticker, but it was like I think 2 years ago.
Step. How much percent is that?
Which one?
I can't remember. Yeah, I cannot remember the ticker.
That in
but
one day?
it went, yeah, in one day went like from 10 cents to like 10, 20 cents up to $10 in one day.
Bye-bye.
I remember. If you guys made it so far, that means you liked it. Click subscribe. Let us know what we could do better. Take care. Thank you.